Dustin Poirier had so many people counting him out, but I never lost hope. I didn't make a video on the Dustin Poirier versus Benoit Saint Denis fight before the fight happened, but behind the scenes, I was 100% rooting for Dustin Poirier. A lot of people, MMA gurus, UFC fighters, a lot of people were doubting Dustin Poirier's ability and if he still had the hunger and the ability to put out an up-and-coming elite contender, supposedly, like Benoit Saint Denis. And I even had a close friend of mine bet against Dustin. And, you know, a lot of people were going against Dustin, and I could kind of see why they were choosing to go against Dustin, naming all these points, such as Dustin Poirier, he's not as hungry as he used to be. He got his companies, he got his money. And after the knockout of Gaethje, like Justin Gaethje did do a madness to him. Still, I was shocked in that fight. Like, I knew that Gaethje versus Poirier would have been an entertaining fight, but I didn't expect it to go the way it went, especially with the first fight. And I know Gaethje improved a lot, but still, that was crazy to me. And I'm a huge Poirier fan, so I was extremely sad about that. And a lot of people were doubting my man Poirier. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, bro, this kid is ranked number 12, Benoit Saint Denis, and you guys are saying that he's going to beat Dustin Poirier, the diamond, like the guy that's putting people on their ass constantly, that's constantly putting beatings on people. And people doubted him also from the Michael Chandler fight. You know, Michael Chandler was doing a madness to him in that first fight up until he ended up winning. But he did come back. Every time Michael Chandler was doing a madness, Poirier ended up coming back. And I will admit that Michael Chandler did do some stupid shit. And he does have a bad fight IQ, which in turn caused Dustin to take advantage of the stupid things Chandler was doing, but that still is just comparable and shows how good Poirier is. He's willing to really dog it out and lose a fight for 2 rounds, and when he gets his chance, he's taking it. Like, he's always that ability for Dustin Poirier to turn a fight around. Like, Dustin Poirier has proved to me as a fan that you can count on him when it comes to beating up people. The only people he's really lost to is top contenders. I mean, nobody was beating Charles Oliveira during his run. And like I said, this Justin Gaethje fight was an absolute shock to me. Justin Gaethje totally outclassed him and had Dustin knocked out. That was a complete shock to me. I didn't expect that to happen at all. But for people to be saying Dustin Poirier got knocked out, he's not as hungry as he used to be, he's saying that he's 35 years old and any fight could be his last fight. He doesn't want it as badly as Benoit wants it. And I just don't believe that. Like, Dustin Poirier, you can tell, is a very humble and realistic guy when it comes to his perspective on what the fight game looks like. Dustin Poirier knows for a fact that at that age, it's possible for any fight to be his last fight, which is a fact. Like, I'm willing to bet that most fighters in his age range in the UFC at that level are thinking the exact same thing, are thinking that any fight could be their last fight, because it realistically could be. I mean, they're just afraid to say it. Dustin Poirier is very honest and upfront about his thoughts when it comes to the fights, and you just gotta love it. You gotta love how honest the man is, how humble the dude is. Like, he ain't thinking he's this machine that's totally unbreakable, that isn't prone to injuries. He knows that, yes, any of these fights, and at the level of fighting he's doing, he's fighting in the top 5 still to this day. Dustin Poirier, he's almost up there with the most UFC fights and up there right now with the most fight night bonuses. Dustin Poirier is an absolute juggernaut, and he's an extremely entertaining guy to watch, and has time and time shown again that he can hang up there with the division for a period of several years. Benoit Saint Denis, yeah, he's hungry, yeah, he's a 12th ranked guy, yeah, he's from France, yeah, he was in the army, yeah, all of this stuff, and he can wrestle extremely good, and he got decent striking. But when you take a look at who Dustin has beaten, when you take a look at where he is in his career, looking at that matchup, it was low-key a no-brainer, I ain't gonna lie. Because any person that takes a look at these guys' resumes, besides the fact that people were pointing out Dustin isn't hungry, his time's up, they were basically pulling off Volk on him. Even though as much people weren't saying, yeah, Volk's old man Volk, they were indirectly saying, yeah, this is old man Poirier. He ain't gonna be able to hang with Benoit Saint Denis. Like, this man is hungry. 12th ranked dude, bro. His striking is a joke, absolute joke compared to somebody like Poirier. Just analyzing the striking alone on these two guys, Poirier's striking is genuinely on a different level. This man has some of the best boxing in the UFC, some of the best calf kicks in the UFC. Benoit's a good striker and he's a very good wrestler. But compared to Dustin Poirier, the striking is just, it's worlds apart, especially the boxing. Like, I was seeing some of the punches that Benoit was throwing, and it was just disgusting. It's like, bro, he's teeing off with his hands by his hips at Dustin Poirier. Now, one day he got knocked out. Poirier still has the power. Poirier still has the speed. He still got the skills. He still got it. And I think that's really what he showed in that fight. Benoit was just spamming takedowns, like he was really trying to just hold down Dustin Poirier, because every time he was in the striking exchanges, he just wasn't doing too well. Like, Benoit was not doing good. So when Poirier and him on the ground, Benoit was doing a bit of work, getting some control time. He was doing bits, and I don't know why Dustin Poirier kept shooting for those guillotines. Like, honestly, bro, I had his corner at one point even tell him, like, stop doing the guillotine. And he went out there, did the guillotine twice after that. And, you know, it kind of worked because it low-key affected Benoit in a way. And I know that Benoit had a staph infection and he was on antibiotics during his camp leading up to this fight and all of these things. But I don't think that's an excuse for the way he lost. Like, the staph infection thing, you can say, like, okay, round 4, midway through round 3, like, this was round 2. Round 2, man's gassed out. Like, it's honestly mental for me for a guy to gas out in one round and then blame it on an infection. And yes, obviously it's going to affect your body to some degree, but bro, you got knocked out in the second round. That's not really like one of those things you can say like, it's because of that. Nah, Dustin Poirier just caught you in an exchange because you were low-key gassed. Like, let's be real, Dustin's just a better boxer. He kept getting up to the feet. Dustin did some good defense when it came to the ground because he kept getting up to his feet by the end of the round. So I definitely think that was an impressive performance, especially when you consider that Benoit was dominating that whole first round, like, and for most of the second round until Dustin was catching him a couple times and, you know, in the middle and caught him at the end. But Benoit, I was annoyed. I was like, bro, this guy's just going to hold him down. This guy's just going to beat him up on the floor. I was really frustrated. And when that knockout came, I cannot explain how crazy I went, bro. That was honestly beautiful to see. All the people that were doubting my boy DP, he just showed out. This is exactly what he needed. It was that time in his career where he needed to fight a younger ranked contender that's hungry and coming up for the belt, because like he said, a lot of his previous fights were for the belt or fighting a rank up. So this was the time that he gave to a lower contender and he showed out. A lot of people didn't have him winning this fight. I think he was the betting favorite, but you know, a lot of the fans and a lot of the people were saying Poirier's out of it, Poirier ain't hungry enough, Poirier's talking about this could be his last fight. When in my opinion, that's just a realistic perspective. Like, he's only a human being. But of course, he's obviously one of the most dangerous men on this planet. Like, Dustin's technique is so crazy. I can't lie. Like, it might sound like I'm glazing, but like, bro, that was a crazy performance. I'm so happy. What's next for Dustin Poirier could be a title fight. He's in that talk right now. Charles Oliveira is fighting Arman, and we don't know if Charles is going to be ready to fight. I know Islam wants to fight in June. Same with Justin Gaethje fighting Max Holloway. So Dustin Poirier could be next in line for the title fight. If Justin Gaethje ain't ready, which most likely isn't going to be same, because that's going to be a war with Max Holloway, let's be real. Same with Oliveira. Oliveira is always taking huge breaks between his fights. You know, Oliveira is not really one to worry about waiting too long before a title fight. He knows he's going to get that fight if he wins. But DP is definitely a possible next up opponent for Islam Makhachev. And on Twitter, Islam is calling it, he wants it, DP wants it. So I'm thinking that possibly next could be Dustin Poirier versus Islam Makhachev. Now that's an entire another matchup to talk about. That is definitely going to be a crazy fight and I'll be 100% tuned in. I'll definitely be breaking that fight down when it does happen. It'll be announced and I'll be giving my opinion on who I think is going to win. I think you guys can probably guess who's going to win that fight. It's not a crazy guess. I mean, Islam has a similar style to Khabib. We all know what Khabib did to Poirier, but you never know what can happen at this level. Honestly, Poirier has only been getting better. So, we'll see. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments what you guys think. Smash that like button And please join the network and subscribe for your boy trying to hit 500 subs. Thanks for watching. I've been Fadlu and peace out.